Oh, I'm fine. And you?
I am excellent.
Oh, that's excellent, because that is what we need for this show. We need excellence. And not only for us sitting here behind the microphones, but also for the people that's listening to it. They get themselves a cup of coffee and get relaxed and so forth. Maybe the wife will give you breakfast in bed.
I like that idea. That sounds like a fun idea. But there's got to be a phone there. That way you can call us.
Yes, of course. There is always a phone in the bedroom. Yeah. He might be sleeping with it. You never know. So anyway, we talked a little bit the other day about what we should talk about on the radio. And Jason says, let's talk to the people that like to repair their own vehicles. And I said, yeah, that's a damn good idea. I shouldn't say the word damn, but I'm going to say it again. See, now,
use it to apologize for using it.
Yeah, but that's a very good idea. So I think that with something. So if you have listeners out there that like to tinker with their own automobile, like to work on them, let's talk about that. What is it that you, with these new automobiles, what is it that you have problems with? We can probably help you decide what to do if you have problem with your own car and you don't want to take it in to have it diagnosed by a shop. And I was thinking that if you really want to, you could take the car in and have another shop diagnose it. Only diagnose it cars and tell you what is the matter with it and pay them for that. And then you make the repair.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking when you were talking.
Yeah, right.
That would, excuse me. If you went in and you went in with and talked to the service advisor or people in the shop and say, hey, look, I like to do my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I'm replacing the right components.
Yeah.
Some of the parts stores are back on the bring your car in, we'll give you your codes for on your car for free. Well, that's great and all, but the real knowledge is figuring out what those codes mean, because those codes are like a zip code or a street.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you exactly where you want to be. It says you want to be on Broad Street. Okay, so just go down over to Broad Street and go into Vaughn's.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Broad Street's a big area to walk to find Vaughn's.
Yeah.
So codes help narrow the situation down, but they don't give you the answer. But if you went in and you had a check engine light or the other thing that's funny, I was just thinking right in the middle of my sentence, that yes, their little toy scanner, which you can buy, they're very inexpensive now. I've seen them down as low as $20. You can buy one of those scanners, but normally they only work for the engine computer. So if the ABS light is on, or the defroster, or the heater doesn't work, or the airbag light is on, it's not going to give you any codes. So you have to have a different kind of tool for that.
Yes. And those we were talking about that at the school the other day, because the guy had his ABS light on, and so we got out one of the scanners, and that was a $1,200 scanner, and that told us some of what we thought was going to happen. Then he had to go from there to the computer and look up on the computer what the code number meant.
Yeah. But then that just gives you what it means. Now you got to sit down and figure out from the computer or from some source what that code relates to and what things can make that code flag, because a code is just a failed test.
Yes.
And it's just a matter of, I woke up this morning and it was dark. Okay. Yeah. Is that because it's still dark out, or the drapes drawn, or your eyes aren't open?
Yeah. That's true. And the thing is that not all these readers will read for that particular car. So we had to dig out another reader that was working better on that truck that had the ABS brake on. And of course, we got down to where we found out exactly where the problem was. Then we looked up, and it would tell us the sequence of doing the work.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
Like you shop.
Oh, the sequence in the diagnostics.
Yeah, sequence in the diagnostics.
Yep.
And also, if you got to take it apart, sometimes it will give you the sequence of taking something apart and put it back together.
Right.
And sometimes they will print you out the picture.
Right.
So, by other words, you like to have something done, you can go to the shop, and you probably, I think an independent shop might be willing to give you this information for a charge, but it makes it so much easier for you to do the work. Because you can, the owner of the vehicle can afford, well, of course he can afford, to buy the instruments, but maybe he doesn't want to do that.
Right. And then, I don't know, the cars are so specialized anymore. So much of it can be figured out and repaired easily. And then so much of it, I remember when I was first starting, is you go and you're going to do a hub on a older Chevy, let's say, a rear hub. Yeah. You're going to do rear brakes on a 1-ton. Yeah. Well, now you got to buy a $35 socket so you can remove the axle nuts so you can access it. And so if you have one of those, well, how often are you going to do the rear brakes on it? That's right. Oh, once in its life? Well, now you got a $35 socket for one part of the job. Yes. To do that one time. But you have one socket for each one of them, or the different model vehicles. Right. But I'm saying, as an owner, as a guy doing it yourself, you've got this socket, and yes, of course, I've got several $100s, probably several $1,000s of those sockets from all the different cars because, we're working on a 72 Chevy and medium duty and everything else. So we have to have all that stuff at the shop. But I don't know. I was just thinking there's positives and negatives. So you come in, a scenario, you come in with a ABS light on your car. You bring it in and we look at it. We go, okay, it means that, let's see. Oh, simple rear wheel speed sensor is not functioning properly. We verify it's bad. Here you go. You have a good day. You go home. You go, oh, I'm going to change my rear wheel speed sensor. And you get in, you get the car you get the sensor, you go buy the sensor, you get ready to put it in, and it takes a Torx socket. Well, I don't have any Torx sockets. Or it takes an inverted Torx. You're like, I bought the Torx sockets. I have them. Yes. Oh, wait a second. This is the inverted Torx. Oh, come on. So then you're out another $50.
Well, this brings up another problem. But before we do any more, the people that have been listening, if they like to call in, I mean, we would like you to call in if you have something to add to this. The telephone number is 543-8830.
I tell you what, the first caller, I've got pumpkins in the back of my truck.
Oh, they get a pumpkin?
They get a pumpkin. Come by the radio station this morning and get a pumpkin.
You grew them?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I grew them at the house.
Homegrown pumpkins. Oh boy.
We picked them last weekend.
Okay, so then on Monday morning they can come by the shop and get a pumpkin from you.
Oh, that'd be fine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Monday, come by with up. Yeah. Or I was also thinking, I have a friend and he has a Cadillac and he's eating the rear tires, or he's destroying the tires on it. And I was talking to him. We were out driving around the other day and we were talking, and I try not to bring friends into the shop because they're friends, and I don't want them to be uncomfortable or whatever. Yeah. So, and I don't want to be uncomfortable charging them. You know what I mean? So, we're talking. I'm like, he's like, I like, you're a Cadillac. You ought to put some nice Michelins on. He goes, oh, I can't. It eats tires too fast. I go through tires every 30,000 miles. And I'm like, well, it needs to be aligned. He goes, oh, no. I had it checked. It doesn't need to be aligned. And I went, it's a Cadillac. If it eats tires in 30,000 miles, you need to have an alignment done. He goes, you really think so? And I'm like, yes. So he brings it in the other day. The car is completely out of whack. It needs to be adjusted. Rear, front, everything. Had huge toe problems in the rear.
Oh, boy.
And so we get it all done. And I'm like, okay, great, enjoy. And now he can go buy some good tires for the car instead of running garbage. Yeah, right. And it make noise and everything. So I was talking to him last night, and I'm like, so I'm just curious, how did the car work out? Did it seem to be any better? He said, oh, my God, it drives completely different. I'm going to go put some new tires on it because it drives so nice. I want tires now. Yeah. And it was over just to doing a simple alignment. Yeah. So I'm like, I wanted to sit down and go, okay, you know what? We're not the cheapest alignment shop in town. We're not. Alas, we're there to do the Matt's way. We fix problems. And we don't just look at the machine and go, it's green, have a great day. We actually figure out what the car needs and fix that.
No, this is the truth. People, they will do one part of an alignment and call it an alignment. I know a lot of the tire stores, the people that sells tires.
Yes.
will do that.
I like to do one part of the alignment. You're right. They set the front toe.
That's right.
What about the rear?
Or the rear toe. They might just set the toe.
What about the camber? What about the caster?
No, they don't worry about that.
They don't ever look at any of that stuff.
No. Well, they probably look at it, but they don't sell what we call a four-wheel alignment.
They don't do a four-wheel alignment.
It doesn't do the
They
four-wheel
sell
alignment.
it.
Yeah, right.
They don't do it.
Yeah.
We need a new term.
Yeah, we probably have. Anyway, 543-8830. Now, I was going to tell you about something, or talk about something else. It used to be, I remember I got out of the military, and I had a friend, been in the military for, about a year and a half. And we worked together. We worked together at Honor Lake, working on the tanks and so forth. And we were looking for something to do when we got out of the military. And at that time, at Vandenberg Air Force Base, they had a shop where people in the military could go to that shop, and they had all the tools, and they rent the space, and they repair their own cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, this problem that these people that are going to work on their own cars going to have is they're not going to have the tooling to work on the car. And the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know everything. Are there any places that rents out tools?
There used to be. It was a push for a short amount of time that some of the places would. But I don't know anybody that does. Of course, I don't look for them because I have them all, and if I don't, I go down and buy them because I'm going to need them.
Yeah, but anyway, you don't rent them out.
No,
that's right.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't. There's two reasons I can't. Yeah. First of all, if I rent it out and I need it on a customer's car and I don't have it, well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And then secondly, I don't have the people and the infrastructure to support the renting. I tried to talk to one of the parts stores about doing it, and he seemed interested. And I think if there was enough people asking, I'll bet he would. Westside said that he'd be willing to if there enough people asked
like
it. Yeah.
Well, of course, they have the tools. If they have the tools, or and they have the people behind the counter that has the knowledge,
right?
So that if they come in, they're going to take and replace a water pump, and if there is some special nuts or special wrenches that's needed to take that water pump off, they can sell them the water pump, but they can also say, okay, you're going to need this tool and this tool and that tool, and we can rent you that tool if you need to. And that might be a good business.
I think it might help, yeah. And that's why I talked to him.
It depends on how much people that like to do their own work on the cars.
Right. So we're back to that same thing, though, is how much is it, cars are getting more and more complex. So then the rental, to have the specialty tools to work on the different cars, or even your car, is you're getting that. It's more expensive to have the tool, so then it makes it less worthwhile to go and beat your knuckles up and be under the hood. If it's gonna, if you're not saving any money, other than you get to own this tool you don't ever use again.
Right.
So like fan clutch on to change out the water pump on, let's say a 97 Chevy truck. Well, it's a really straightforward procedure. Most people should be able to do it. But the biggest problem is you got to have the tool to take the fan clutch off the water pump. Yeah. Well, it takes a special tool. It takes an impact hammer and an adapter tool. Well, the hammer, the impact gun or tool, a hammer is, it's $150, and the set of tools for it is another $150, $200. Sorry.
But see, now with all the electric tools, it might be that they might have an impact hammer.
No. This is an air hammer.
Air hammer.
The air hammer. I've never seen an electric air hammer.
I look at it as a much simpler term. Like I used to do my oil change. I can do my oil change.
There you go.
But
Perfect.
by the time you go out and buy the oil, you go get the pan to put it in. You get the funnel. I have a funnel anyway. But to the fuel filter or the oil filter, and then you got to dispose of the oil. Yep. It's just.
That's what people talk to me about.
Maybe $1 or $2.
Right. People talk to me about that, and it's like.
And then you got to worry about, I got oil on my nice paver driveway.
Right. Or your garage. And that's what I tell people. For me, I know how to change my oil. I really do know how to change my oil. But I'm not going to do it at home because by the time I get get dressed for something dirty that I can just ruin. Get the car jacked up, get underneath it, clean it all up. And I have all the expertise. Forget it. Yeah. My time's worth something. I'd rather relax and pay somebody extra $30 to just do it.
You just going to want to do something else. Anyway, I want to break right now. So I think we've taken pay some freight here by running some commercials. So we'll do that. We'll be back. The telephone number is 543-8830. So call us during the break if you want to, and we will answer it after the break.
Yeah, we need some calls. We got a classic commercial here for the Edsel. I think Matt had a story about an Edsel. Maybe we can get to that when we get back. But we have a classic commercial for Edsel.
This is the Edsel, the car that is all its classic vertical grille implies. Unforgettably original, elegantly styled. And this is a man who's out to drive America's first new major automobile in 19 years. As he slides into the Edsel's comfortable new contour seats, he finds he's in a completely new kind of car with a wonderful new way to drive. For Edsel's exclusive Teletouch drive has taken the push out of buttons. Just a light touch, and the Edsel shifts electrically, safely, while both his hands stay at the wheel. He's feeling that big V8 Edsel engine now, something his Edsel dealer is especially proud of, because the Edsel engines are the newest in the world. And he finds that brake power easily matches horsepower. This is the Edsel. Try out the newest ideas in motoring in the new member of the Ford family of fine cars at your Edsel dealer.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Little GTO, you really looking fine. 3 deuces and a 4-speed and a 389. Listen to her tacking up now. Listen to her whine.
Okay, be back. Jason and I talking to you. Telephone number here if you want to talk to us, 543-8830.
So I got a quiz question for the listeners. What does 3 deuces mean? I want somebody to call in and tell me what 3 deuces mean. I know what it means. I want to know if anybody else does.
In what regard?
In that, just right there, that song. He's got 3 deuces.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay.
And it's 389. What's a 3 deuces? Come on, somebody call in. I want to hear what everyone thinks what 3 deuces are.
Okay, fine. Good. Now,
sorry, no, back to Edsel. Sorry, I just was thinking about that.
I'll go back to Edsel. I worked for Todd's wheel alignment here in San Luis Obispo in 5960. 58, 59, 60. Here's the telephone call. And I got an Edsel came in for a wheel alignment. And Edsel, it was a bigger car than a Ford, but actually it's a Ford, typical Ford, suspension and so forth. But anyway, those Edsels, they had push buttons on the steering wheel where the horn button was for shifting gears.
Really?
Yeah. So then Chrysler, of course, also had push buttons on the early days on the dash.
On the dash, I remember that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
But Edsel has it on the steering wheel where the horn button was.
Wow.
So anyway, this guy had a small hammer laying in the front seat. And I got in the car and I was going to drive it up on the alignment machine. And I said, what's this hammer for? Oh, it's to shift gears. He had to use a hammer. hit the button on the thing to make it shift gears. So anyway, it wasn't that good, I think.
That didn't work out very well for him, did it?
Okay, let's talk to Aaron.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call this morning.
You're welcome.
Hey, I just bought an older motorhome, a Class C motorhome, recently, and it's on a 1996 Ford F3 or E350 chassis.
Yes, sir.
And it has the big block 460 motor in it. And I started reading a little bit about the vehicle, about the motor, and one of the problems with that 460 apparently is the exhaust manifold can leak. The exhaust manifold when it heats up and cools down over time can leak and break the bolts or cause the bolts to become loose. And it doesn't have a problem now. It doesn't have very many miles on it. It doesn't have a problem now. And I'm wondering if there's something I can do ahead of time to prevent that from happening.
Not that I know of. I mean, keep your tune-up stuff working properly. Keep the plugs in. Make sure you're keeping good fuel in it. Use a fuel stabilizer if it's going to sit much. No, they have that issue. And Chrysler's had their issues with their engines. GM's had their problems. It's life as far as I know. You could preemptively, I mean, it's a 96, so you could preemptively just pull all the bolts and install new bolts, but you could break them in the process.
Don't they crack?
The bolts will.
Oh, the bolts?
The bolts stretch and then they break in half.
Yeah, don't they come up with brass bolts?
You don't want brass bolts, no, because they'll stretch too much.
They stretch too much. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
But so then, if you put a spring, if you spring load the nut on the bolt, so put a longer bolt in, and you put the small spring between the nut and the manifold.
You could, but the spring would be so massive to hold it against because you want a positive set.
Yeah, so, how much torque do you have on those bolts?
Probably 30 pounds.
Yeah,
50 pounds.
I mean, you can buy a spring that would do 30 pounds easy.
Yeah, I guess it's not something that's going to happen multiple times in the car's life.
Yeah, right. But this will allow the manifold to expand and contract.
But will the spring withstand the heat?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's true.
I just thought about that. No, because the manifold on that truck going over the Quest to grade can get glowing red, almost white hot, and you're going to change the spring rate of the spring.
Yeah.
So, the biggest thing I can do to tell people is okay. The tune-up stuff is not going to last on a motorhome like it will a car, so it's going to need to be done more often. The spark plugs, the wires. 96, I got to think about whether that's got a cap or not. Probably has a cap and rotor. May not. I can't remember. Sorry.
That's all right.
Keeping the throttle body and the upper intake cleaning, so keeping the carbon down, using a good fuel, and like I said, fuel stabilizer, because it's a motorhome, it sits so much, you're going to want to use a fuel stabilizer with the ethanol we have nowadays.
Okay.
And using a mid-grade to premium gas, being that it sits so much, might be a worthwhile investment. I've done lots of them. But I've never I still haven't found a better way other than just go back to OE bolts and OE, and I surface the manifolds and reinstall them just with a sealant, no gaskets.
Okay, yeah. So it's just a design. Well, I guess it's a design flaw for it's just the way it is.
It's a compromise. It's not so much a design flaw as a compromise in my mind. Okay, and this is the way I look at it. When that vehicle is under heavy load, pulling the Questigrade, all your gear and everything else, the exhaust and the cylinder head temperature, the combustion temperature get really high. Well, when they do that, they create a lot of oxides of nitrogen. So then the manufacturer to stop that from happening, they retard the timing so that they can cool the combustion off. When they do that, now then you have a longer burn and you end up being more heat, more quantity of heat in the exhaust manifolds and in the heads. So then the manifolds glow and get hotter. And so they try everything they can to hold that, to deal with it. But there's only so much heat those manifolds can handle.
But okay, now if that's the case, what happens if you give it an easier way for the exhaust to get out?
You probably change it by 5%, and then you're making it not smog legal anymore, because the only way to do that is to remove the catalytic converter and make the pipe. Now, I want to say back in the day, I'm sorry, 1 second here. It's going to come to me. I know it. There's a company... There's a company that does performance work, and they made a kit for that vehicle. And the 3 or 4 people I've talked to about it really liked the kit. And if I can come up with the name of the guy, his name's on the.
Okay. We can have the customer keep listening to the show.
Yeah.
If he's interested, and maybe we'll come up with that later.
Right, and if you can buy that kit, which I don't think they sell anymore, but you find a used one or one that nobody installed type of thing on the web or whatever, that would be a good way of helping your problem, and it would probably make your motorhome run a lot better.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep listening, and maybe I'll think of it. So I appreciate all the time you've taken to answer the question.
Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting question because I don't work on engines, but I've seen a lot of engines where when the manifolds are cracked.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And those things will ruin manifolds also.
Yeah.
The problem is, and then the other problem is that I want to say I bought one of the last original equipment manifolds for that engine a couple years ago. So now you're buying China stuff, which doesn't have the right metallurgy, the right components in it to make them last. So you really want that manifold to last, because once it's gone, you're going to be replacing it every, 5,000 miles.
You kidding?
Oh, no, they're horrible.
That bad?
Oh, the China manifolds were just horrible.
Oh, yeah, okay. So if you don't get the cast iron, the American cast iron,
correct, or wherever it was built, but the one that was designed and manufactured for that vehicle.
Yeah.
And I want to say I found one of the last ones because I hunt. I mean, a customer comes in with like this vehicle. If you brought it in and said, and it's got an exhaust noise, and I go and look, and yep, the manifold's cracked in half. I spend 2 or 3 hours hunting for manifolds because I don't want the China one that I can buy at the parts store, because I guarantee you're going to come back mad at me. And when you do, all I can say is, sorry, that was what was available.
Hey, what about if you buy the headers? Of course, on a lot of cars, the headers is a manifold in itself.
Yes, you can.
Can you buy headers for it?
Certain cars allow it. Certain manufacturers, certain people make headers for them.
Yeah.
The problem with headers is usually they can't handle the temperatures that kind of vehicle puts out.
Okay. So
you have to spend, $800, $1,000 for a set of headers.
Oh.
And the problem is people go, wait a second, $1,000. I found these others for $300, and I go, yep, and you'll replace them in a week and a half because they can't handle the temperature. Yeah. The first time you decide to go over the Rockies, you need manifolds. Yeah. So
kind of interesting, how hot these things get. I can remember, I was a young man. I was on an airplane from Norway to New York, 4-engine airplane. And I sit there and look at on the wing and see underneath the engine, on that engine, it was glowing all the way. I think it was glowing all the way around the engine at that time. But how hot, and they ran for hours and hours and hours at that temperature.
But it's a constant.
Yeah, it's a constant, yes.
You know what I mean? It gets up and stays hot and stays hot and stays hot, and then it cools down slowly, where we're really bad about, oh, hey, gas, you pull off the freeway and shut it down within 30 seconds. Yeah, and now that thing just sits there and cooks.
It cooks, yeah.
And it's inside, it's wrapped inside that envelope.
Well, so, Aaron, it was very nice of you to call. Thank you very much.
Well,
I hope we can help
you guys. I wish I had a better answer, but it sounds like it is what it is. So thanks for the
stay on top of it too, Aaron. So if you do hear any kind of leak, take care of it then. Don't wait until you have a chance, until 2 trips later, because that can really affect the manifold and it can warp a lot.
All right. Is there a better engine to be put in that car?
In that car?
Yeah.
No, you're done. Well, you can. You could put a diesel in for, $15,000, $20,000. You could have a diesel engine in that car. Well, wait a second, that car's not worth $20,000.
Okay.
So honestly,
well, I'm asking the question.
No. And honestly, I was thinking about it when he was talking about it, and my favorite, as far as if that's the size you want, motorhome right now is the E450 Ford chassis. I'm sorry, that's not my favorite motorhome. My favorite chassis is the E450 because with the V10, because it's designed to handle the extra load, it's designed to run that load, and it can all day long and pull a little car behind it. Yeah. So it's
yeah. Go ahead.
Are we still? Do we still need Aaron?
Well, thanks.
No. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
You have a great day.
Talk to you. Okay, you too. Take care.
So anyway, well, I seen you in the shop. These vehicles, the trucks come in with cracked manifolds, and I was wondering, why that would be that they had all this problem,
right?
And evidently,
and the newer ones, they've kind of dealt with it because the injection and the computers are better. But my motorhome's the same way. My old motorhome, the manifolds just glow almost white going up the Quest grade. And there's nothing you can do about it other than change the program. Well, when you change the programming and advance the timing, now you're dealing with NOx. So now you're putting out a different horrible emission. And the manufacturers have to fight with that. And it sucks at the same time, They have to follow the rules, at least for the most part. I mean, they do a little fudging.
So 543-8830, this is the Motor Mouth Show, and we will talk about anything about automobiles. We don't have any problem with the people that want to do their own work on their vehicles. So,
no, I think
we had some suggestions earlier in the show of what you as a what do you call shade tree mechanic?
There you go.
Can do.
So another one's been hitting me. I just got done with oil class the other day. And it's so funny. This is my second one. The first one, you're like, I don't want to go to school for oil. Who cares? It's in the jug. You stick it in the car. It says right on the stupid car what to use. You drop it in, you're done. You go to the next car. And after the first one, being there for 4 hours, and at the end of the 4 hours going, wait a second, we're not done yet. You have a whole much more information to give us. No, I want more. Give me more. The second, this last oil class, rather, I was ready. Let's go. I'm ready for oil class. It sounds so stupid, but there's so much information. There's so many things that are changing. And the instructor was telling us he was out on the lake, and he was sitting there relaxing. And this guy comes by with this old classic, what is it? A Chris Craft boat, dual engine, old inline 6. And it's pop, 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 pop. It drives by, and he goes, "Uh-oh, I know what happened." So the guy parks the boat and down just not too far from me, walks over, he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" He goes, "Oh, not good. My engine's making a horrible noise." And he goes, "You just changed oil, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I just did oil and filter on both engines. I did air filters. I got it all fixed up and beautiful." He goes, "Yeah, you ruined your engine." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you put new oil in your old engine, and the new oil doesn't have the chemicals needed to protect the engine. Even though it's good oil, and you put the best stuff you can in, you bought oil for a new engine, not your old engine. So you have to add an additive for your old engine."
Oh, yeah?
So he ruined the camshaft and the lifters because it didn't have the barrier elements in
I see.
it, the zinc and whatnot, to protect the engine.
Okay, how old when you say old? Engine, how old is an old? We'll talk to Jerry in a second, but tell me how old is an old engine?
Well, the oil you're buying off the shelf today is for your car, your C-Max.
Yeah, okay.
But
so
now for your old...
my Toyota, 15 years old.
Toyota, it would probably still be okay for the short term because now it still has some of those barrier chemicals in it. But as they wear out, they're going to go away.
Okay. Jerry is on the line. Hello, Jerry. Are you there, Jerry? Did we lose Jerry?
Did we lose Jerry? Well, Jerry, thanks for calling in.
Be there.
Well, maybe he went to get a cup of coffee or something.
Oh, well, stuff happens.
So, call me back.
So we've been talking about oils and how oil is not going to really affect. You know, most times oil is not going to affect you as quick as that old boat. The wrong oil. And I'm not talking about the wrong weight. I'm talking about the wrong chemicals in the weight of oil you're buying.
Yeah.
And we were talking, he had a chart, and he had this 020 oil that was thicker than a 1040. You're like, it can't be. It's a 020 compared to a 1040. No. So it's amazing what's out there and what isn't out there. And now we're starting to stock additive so we can add to your engine oil when we change the oil on your old car.
So you can't get the old oil anymore.
You can't buy the old oil because the manufacturers aren't building it. Yes, you can. You can go to Redline or Deep Purple or one of the specialty guys and get the oil you want. Oh, yeah, no problem. But instead of it being $3 a quart, it's $8.95. And you have to order it because most places don't stock it. So you can't just run over to Westside and say, I want 7 quarts of Deep Purple, blah, blah, blah. And they go, because they're going to go, I'm sorry, I don't stock that. I can get it for you.
Well, the thing is that, well, now you're taking a class. How many of the people that changes oil are taking these classes and getting the information that you are getting about this subject?
Oh, at least 1%.
It's enough, man. That is enough.
I was in oil class, okay?
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, probably 20 shops that pay for this class.
Yeah.
There were, I don't know, 10 guys there, 15 guys.
Yeah.
And 3 of them were my guys. 4 of the 20 or 15 guys were us in my shop.
Well, you know, this is kind of interesting because I read about that oil has changed. And, for example, for diesel engines, that is a totally new oil.
Oh, yeah, completely changed.
Yeah.
But you don't want to run. Thus far, Ford hasn't signed off on Chevron's oil, at least not as of the class a month ago or 2 weeks ago. So you can't run the new oil, the new Chevron oil in your new Ford. And a lot of the Fords are pushing more of a 1030, not a 1540. So we had one in the shop the other day, and we had to go get oil because we didn't have oil. I'm like, wait a second. What do you mean we don't have oil for this stupid Ford? It's a Ford. Hello? I stock, 60 gallons of diesel oil. Nope, sorry, wrong oil. So we had to go get oil.
So on my old diesel.
No problem. Now, but I wouldn't run the new oil in your old diesel without an additive.
So I still have some of the old oil.
Yes. I have the old oil too. We actually stock both. We have the new oil and we have the old oil now. You're like, it's a diesel. How many oils do I need to have? We actually have 3 oils for the American diesel trucks right now in the shop. 3 different oils.
Yeah, this is so exhausting. It is so exhausting. I
have Volkswagen diesel oil. I have Mercedes diesel oil, and I haven't done any BMW diesel. So I have 6 different oils just for diesel vehicles.
Okay. Well, anyway, okay. So I want to go to a break right now, and the telephone number is 543-8830. You might call us. We appreciate your call. So we might talk about something else if you do call us.
There you go. I like that. The motorhome question was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, got a classic commercial for Edsel again for the 1959 Edsel.
Driving my new Edsel for a month now, and I haven't put a drop of gas in it.
Confidentially, ladies and gentlemen, her husband buys the gas. However, the new Edsel does have an eye-opening economy story, and here are the facts. You get extra economy when you drive Edsel because you choose from 4 engines. including 2 V8s and a thrifty 6, that give you spirited performance on regular gas. Yes, I said regular gas.
Tell them what an easy car Edsel is to drive.
Well, you just said it. It certainly is. You know, you get extra economy when you buy Edsel because you get more for your money. More size, more room, more big car comfort. And that adds up to more solid value for every dollar you invest. Edsel is built to be the most distinctive car on the road, yet it's priced with Plymouth, Chevrolet, and Ford in the popular price field. So if you're tired of paying too much for look-alike cars, see the distinctive new Edsel at your Edsel dealers tomorrow. You'll also find Edsel at many of your Mercury dealers. Treat yourself to a demonstration drive. See, sit in, drive tomorrow. The eye-opener of the year, the 1959 Edsel.
When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than
You're standing near the shore, where the Florida State ends and Lake St. Clair.
Car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just 1 tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these 2 letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Spevack, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motor Works. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motor Works at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Motormouth Show. Jeff is off today, so Jason Ornelas, the owner of Absolute Autotech, is my guest, and we will now talk with Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
The answer on the 3 deuces is 3 two-barrel carburetors on that 389 Chevy motor, which was made famous when it came out on that GTO. I think it was 64 GTO.
So that
I like it.
You like it.
I like it. Perfect. That's the answer I was looking for.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
So very much.
You want to come by and get your pumpkin Monday?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, the shop, his shop is on, you know where it is?
No, you know what? I was interested to find out where it is.
In the corner of Capitolio and Sacramento.
Know exactly where that is.
Okay, fine. Right there on the corner. That's where
805.
805.
805 in the 805, right? So, excellent. Thanks for calling in. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I wanted to also take a shout out to Aaron. Aaron, it's Banks. Kelly Banks is the manufacturer that made the only decent kit I've found for that I've ever seen for that motorhome. Okay?
I heard about that.
Okay, so we have Jack and AG.
Now we got Jim coming on.
Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Yeah, Jack.
We have Jack.
We
do
Jack.
got Jack now.
Sorry, Jack. How are we doing, Jack?
Hey, that's okay. Hey, I had a set of triple deuces on my little 32 pickup when I was young.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
and they were good performing for carburetor, but then they brought out the 4 barrels, and so all of a sudden I had 2 4 barrels.
Oh, right.
Which gave me a little more poop.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But I was young and dumb. This little 32 Ford pickup I had was really a nice little pickup, but I did all the things to the engine, for hopping it up and everything, but somehow I forgot to put mechanical brakes on it.
It sounds like a lot of people. You weren't alone in that.
Pardon me. I didn't put the hydraulics on. I still had the mechanicals.
Right.
That bad, bad situation when you could do a quarter of a mile in about 8. And you can't stop within 10 blocks.
Yes. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. But anyway, hey, I have a Chrysler. And I really don't have any problems that I could tell. But I was listening to that about those manifolds. Now, I do have the large engine in it, the big Hemi.
Yes.
And does the same thing happen to these, just the automobiles?
Oh,
or
yes.
Are they heavy enough to cause that kind of a problem?
Chrysler's definitely had problems with that, yes.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of Chrysler manifolds.
Yeah. Now is that on the automobiles or on the motorhomes and stuff?
Mostly the pickups. I've done more on the pickups than anything else.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack, we got 2 other callers. Can I?
Okay, I'm going to get off this phone.
Okay, thank you, Jack.
Okay,
thanks for the phone call. I really appreciate it.
Joanne,
how can we help you?
Go ahead.
Joanne?
Are you there?
Uh-oh, we had 2 of them. So do we go to Jerry? Okay, Jerry?
Hi. The question you asked about the triple deuces, 3 deuces, the 389 had a manifold that had 3 2-barrel carburetors, which in my mind wasn't the optimum if you want to get some decent gas mileage. I had a small block Ford. It was a 302 manifold, and I remember it had very small primaries and a fairly decent secondary, and the mileage and torque were great on the new 4-barrel, as long as you didn't accelerate hard enough to open the secondary.
Right, yeah, that's I've heard that, where the 4-barrels actually got better fuel economy than even the 2-barrels.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the phone call, Jerry.
Yeah. Okay, now we got to talk to Joanne. Are you there, Joanne?
Yes, I am.
There we go. All right, all the electronics worked here. How are we doing this morning?
That's okay. I just wanted to know, I'm curious, I have a 2010 Edge with 70,000 miles on it. What oil should I be using in that, the Ford Edge?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have them. In oil class, we didn't learn what cars take which oil. We learned how to find it. The first thing I would do is go into your owner's manual. And in the owner's manual,
I've got it out here, yeah.
It should describe to you at least 2, if not 3 different or 4 different kinds of oil, depending on how you drive and what temperatures you drive in. So if we were in San Luis, we were mild, so we don't see a lot of 0 and below. We don't see a lot of 120s, so you're kind of in the middle. And then you want to really watch. At work, I have a sheet that tells me what oil your car or what classification of oil fits your car. And then I go to look at my oil suppliers and I match that with your car.
So if I'm seeing Dan at Auto House in Los Osos, he's probably doing that for me.
Prompt him, because he didn't go to oil class, I don't believe.
Okay.
And I didn't know this before a month ago, and I'm as guilty as everybody else. I have been doing the wrong thing. So prompt him. If he has any questions, have him call me, and I can sit down and talk to him about the things that I learned and what I found in class.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a great afternoon, a great morning, and thank you very much for the call. That was awesome.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Well, do we have any more calls?
No, we don't.
Well, you know how
that's kind of good
is?
because we only have like 2 minutes.
You wait until the last 15 minutes of this show, and have you get the calls.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that if we took and moved this shop up an hour from 9 to 10,
it would still be the last 15 minutes.
Well, anyway.
Well, I get it. I remember one day I was doing something, and I was you and Jeff were talking, and I was in the truck, and I'm like, oh, hey, you know what? I want to talk. I have something I want to add. And I looked up, and it was like 3 minutes left. I'm like, well, not today.
Yeah. Well, so I'm sorry that we might have lost. I don't know. We lost anybody, but the thing is that
Jerry's phone dropped out.
We appreciate we appreciate your calls, and we're glad we were able to take and answer your telephone calls, and hope we answered the question that you had. So now I need to take and talk about some of the people that pays for this.
Yeah.
Pays for us being on the air and pays for you being able to call us.
Well, one guy is sitting immediately to your left, so maybe he wants to talk about his shop.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? You have 1 minute to talk about your shop.
Well, I'm Jason at Absolute Auto Tech in San Luis Obispo. Okay. The one thing I want to tell everyone is we are Matt's Brake and Alignment also. I still had somebody yesterday come in looking for Matt's Brake and Alignment, couldn't find Matt's Brake and Alignment. I went, no, it's me. I can't put both signs up because the state won't let me. But we're still Matt's, and we do it the Matt's way. We do brakes the Matt's way. We do alignment the Matt's way. We want it done right, and we don't want to see it again for the same problem over and over again.
The new telephone directory has Matt's Brake and Alignment 544-3300.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have given up that telephone number.
And they put your phone number on it, so they're calling you?
No, if they call that number, they're not going to get anybody.
Oh, I need to take care of that.
Yeah.
So then we have Continental Motor Works.
Continental Motor Works, and you talk to him, or you hear from him every Saturday, mostly.
Yep.
And
slowbike.org.
Slowbikes.org.
Slowbike.org.
Yeah, there is no slow bikes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all racers.
Yeah, they're kind of like
they can have to change their name, but the racebikes.org. Yeah.
But it's SLO, not SLOW.
No. And then, so they're kind of helping to get some of the bike paths put in.
Right, exactly. And what else? Do you have anybody else?
Well, BG44K products.
BG44K.
Maybe you can speak to BG44K. Do you?
We do use them. I was thinking Aaron on his motorhome might try to use some BG44K to help out, or the Techron, the Chevron Techron. But the BG44K is some great stuff. A lot of people use in the industry.
There we go.
Okay.
There's all the sponsors.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the listeners.
Yes, and if they have any questions, call me at the shop, 547-1062, and I can help you with any kind of knowledge I have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.